Well, it is crunch time for students in their final year, with those all-important end-of-school exams nearly upon us. But how do you stop the pressure getting to them? Dr Michael Spence is Vice-Chancellor at the University of Sydney, and he joins me now. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, Lisa.
Now, you have a son doing
right.
his Year 12 exams this year, SNAP. We've got one as well. You've done it twice before. What is your best advice? Should we be pushing them?
Well, I think it's obviously important that people work hard, but it's also important that they keep perspective. You know, sometimes students and parents forget that these exams are just a measure of how you've done over the last 2 years, and your results are not tattooed on your forehead forever. They determine what you can do in the first year or two of university. That's all.
See, that advice really makes sense. The trouble is, I think a lot of parents feel like if I don't make them realise that the mark is important, they'll relax too much, which is the alternative view.
The important thing as a parent to remember is that by the time they're 30, most people work out what they want to do, and it's rarely serial killer. You know, by the time they've experimented with a few different things at university, they'll know what they want to do, and that's fine.
When kids do particularly well, those marks can even be a burden too, can't they? Because they can go into subjects that are just way too stressful for them, and
Yep.
that really only drove them there because their marks were high.
I spend my life telling Year 12 students that they're not frequent flyer points. You don't have to use them all. We have hundreds of kids with ATARs over 98 who do an arts degree, and it's a great general education. It teaches you about critical thinking, prepares you not just for your first job, but for the job after that, and the one that hasn't even been invented yet.
And life in general.
Exactly.
How important is the support network during this time?
Hugely important. I think it's really important that parents and friends remind people not only to work, but also to get out, to do some exercise, to eat well, to sleep well, because these exams are a physical endurance test as much as anything else.
We know that school kids face many challenges, sometimes tragedies at this time, unexpected, and I know you know about that. What can we do as the wider community to help kids through particularly difficult times?
Look, when you're 18, you're dealing with all sorts of things, everything from relationship breakups to issues at home. My own wife died at Christmas, and that's been particularly tough for my son who's doing the HSC. The important thing to remember is that universities are not stupid, and we have ways of taking all of that into account in university entrance. And people who've had those kinds of experience should make sure that they talk to their careers counsellor at school about how to make that clear to the university.
And also, I know that the Year 12 markers will take that into account when they're marking papers as well, if kids have gone through tough times.
Well, it doesn't work quite like that. So the exams are marked as exams, but then it's at the point of university admission that those things are taken into account in the scores.
So your final advice?
My final advice is, believe it or not, enjoy the process. You know, settle back, do a bit of work, and whatever the result, if you've worked well, then you have a right to be proud.
Yeah, indeed. Michael, thanks very much for your time this morning, and a very big hug and good luck to all the kids sitting their exams.